Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Adapted Life Podcast. I'm back. I know it's been a while. We have so many things going on, so I'm just really happy that I'm sitting here in front of this microphone. So I am going to talk a little bit today about, I guess the title of this episode is like, how dare I want to do more outside of my role, right? How dare you, right? How dare you even think that you can separate yourself from this important task that you're supposed to be doing? Wanting something more outside of caregiving is really difficult for so many of us. Have you ever sat and you're taking care of someone and what you really want to do is go for a walk or read a book or, I don't know, go to a movie or call a friend or just escape, do something creative, start a part-time job, I don't know, whatever it is that is separate from your focus on taking care of your person. It sounds kind of crazy, but it's hard to have space for yourself, and that's what I'm going to talk about, but it is so vitally important to figure out how to do that. In my days as a caregiver, I'm a special needs mom, right? I always will be. Daniel's 25, but I'm a podcaster. I do things. I manage things. I manage lots of things within my world. And over the past several years, I've been seeing such a considerable turn inside me and on my journey to self-discovery. I don't know how this all happened, right? I just started looking at things differently and changing my perspective. I don't think of myself as a victim anymore, and I used to. Woe is me, why do I have all this? It's so hard. There's so many things. Wow, it's so hard. I now spend every morning in my meditation space, and my husband can attest to this. Every single day, I sit and I explore this concept of being connected to my highest self. I transcend all the noisy thoughts that are going on in my head about so many fragmented things, and I just really access what is on the inside, and it's so incredibly healing. So right now I take little courses within Insight Timer. I love Insight Timer. I'm not a sponsor in any way, but it has helped me to find a place where I can explore all these concepts that I didn't know anything about, not really, like mindfulness and journey work and, deep gratitude practice and building resilience and, self-love and even just how to meditate and different ways to meditate and different concepts within that whole realm of finding peace. So right now I did a class, this morning, the first lesson that I was taking, it was referencing something, and that was from a advanced law of attraction class within Insight Timer. So it referenced something that was really interesting to me called, the 5 whys, or root cause analysis. And the gentleman was talking about when he used to work in business and manufacturing, and they did this 5 whys. And I remember this process because there was a time when I was an HR manager for a manufacturing company, and we had all these people come in, quality and all this, and they were like 5 whys, to get to the root cause and find positive ways to improve things. So I was like, okay, so in the exercise, he said, hey, let's find something that you want to ask why about. And so the 5 whys I asked myself during this exercise was, why am I not doing more for my podcast, which I love so much? And why isn't my son receiving the nursing care that he is supposed to be, that he is approved for? And why? And whys and whys and whys. And so 4 whys later to these 2 questions, because that's what popped into my head first, because they affect each other. 4 whys later in my journal, I had this little blueprint towards how I can build and chart a course for better and effective advocacy, and how I can make inroads to getting more coverage for my son, and new ideas, right? And just food for thought. So additionally, I had more ideas as to why I have not progressed as far as I would like with monetizing this podcast, with expanding it, doing more, having interviews, uh, bringing in whatever I can to help you guys, and growing ideas and just expanding. So with each inquiry, why? Well, why this? Well, why haven't I? Well, because my life is so fragmented. I never know if the nurses are going to be here. Why? Why? Because sometimes I just get so overwhelmed and my health isn't the greatest, and then I just lose my focus. Why? And then I just started writing it all down in like this flow. So why am I not spending more time perfecting my podcasting skills? This is something that I really, really find vital, because I didn't have to do a podcast. I didn't have to do anything other than what I was doing. But I am tired all the time, and I'm pulled in those directions, like I said before. So I have so many tasks and responsibilities, just like you guys do, right, during the day, that I am not treating my creative process as a priority, with the time that it deserves. And so even when I have help, I get too many distractions that pull me, and I run out of time and I get derailed. And so pull myself back, right? So this happens to us caregivers. If you're a caregiver, you're also managing a house. You might have a job, you might have a family, you might have a husband, you might have your own health, you might have animals to take care of, and whatever the thing is, even if we can successfully push ourselves into this self-enlightenment, discovery of what really brings us passion, and finding that time to do it is realistically contingent upon us being able to find somebody else to take care of our loved one, right? Because that's our role. We're carrying that weight, that responsibility. So even if you have somebody else coming in, a caregiver, an aide, or whatever, you're still in charge. So you you have to carve yourself away to have your own space, but it's never really your own. It's like a mental thing, because you know that on the other side, that anything goes wrong with my son, I'm out of here and I'm downstairs, and I'm like, I have to manage that. So it can get a little convoluted, where you just kind of find like, I have days where I'm just like, it's just too hard. I'm just going to sit in my chair and drink coffee and like watch Netflix, because I just can't make space. I can't breathe today. Like I'm like, so I'm always adapting. We're always adapting. We're always shuffling around. Um, we never really know what's going to happen next, do we? I mean, there's no way to know. But we're trying to shoulder the frustration when you can't get anything done and you really want to, and knowing deep inside your heart how disappointed you are, because you really wanted to go to that hair appointment today that got canceled because your person didn't show up, or you just wanted to take a yoga class with some friends and then you couldn't go because your caregiver didn't show up. So it becomes a rhythm, right? This is a rhythm, right? Wake up, drink coffee, the nurse or the caregiver arrives to take care of your person. Set intentions for the day, except to have nonstop interruptions for your day. That's the intention, right? I'm going to set an intention, except that I know that I'm going to have nonstop, or maybe not, who knows, but most of the time. So there's fragmented, disjointed tasks that slip into the spaces of time that you really want to dedicate to your creative space, but you just know that something's going to pull you away, so you say, forget it. Do you understand where I'm coming from? It's like, wow, I have this really, really intense desire to be a podcaster. And when I sit down and do it, it brings me so much incredible joy. I just love to reach out to other people and try to see if anyone is like on this platform with me, like in their brain. Are you here feeling like you are blessed to be in this role, but yet you still want to be yourself, separate from that? Like, how dare you, how dare you want to be somebody else on top of this responsibility, right? Like you feel guilty. I love him so much. He needs so much. Am I doing enough? Do I need to do more? And yet, am I a bad person for wanting to spend time gardening, or, treating my orchids, or taking a walk, or whatever? So A lot of people, it's easy for outside people to say, well, self-care is important. You need to go do that. But for somebody who is carrying the responsibility 24/7 for another person's life, it it colors it differently. You know what I'm saying? So we carry the responsibility of our loved one with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's a very heavy, heavy, heavy carry. Sometimes you feel your knees buckling. Other times, you have a little space to breathe, and you're grateful for having helpers that can bring that to you. Um, I have discovered how much I love podcasting and creating content on my YouTube channel and working on my art projects with my son. We have an art shop on Etsy where we sell our special needs art that we do together. And it's so rewarding and it's so sweet. So I was asking myself why in my exercise, like, why? Why am I not doing more? So with the intent on clarifying my own passion, well, why did I procrastinate so often lately and steer away from writing my podcast episodes, producing more ways to encourage others, which brings me so much joy, right? So this is the whole adaptive process. And this is why I want to be here doing the Adapted Life podcast, because I don't want to be alone. And I know you don't want to be alone either. And some people are more in the thick of it even than I am. And yet we need to have somebody to listen to who just gets how hard it is to be waking up in the morning. I have to change the diapers and do the medications and transfer into the wheelchair and do the exercises, get up into the stander. He needs to have his showers. We have to have all the equipment. I have to order the supplies. We have to get to doctor's appointments and schedule therapies and schedule clinics and just to make sure everything is good and do his vital signs and make sure he's happy and smiling, engaged and learning and resting when he needs to be resting. And it's just, check his skin integrity and all. I mean, all of these things. And, it's like, I just lost my thought. That's what happens. It's a lot. It's like fireworks going off in your brain all the time. And even right now, at this moment, my alarm just went off, and I'm like, okay, it is 11:21. I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to come back to this recording. I have a telehealth appointment, so I need to do that because appointments are hard for me. I literally don't even mentally get the concept of things having a time they're supposed to happen or you're supposed to be somewhere, because my whole life has been altered in that respect. But anyway, I will come back in a little while. So you probably won't even know that, but if you're watching this, I got to go do the thing on the telehealth, but thank God for telehealth because it's a lifesaver. I say it's just fantastic. Okay. Bye. Let's pause. So I'm back until my doctor comes on. Okay. I'm just sharing that with you because it's how my life is, right? So anyways, when I'm talking about asking why. So just by asking why, I'm basically splashing some water on my face to wake myself up a little bit. So why? Why am I not able to do the things I want to do? Why am I not doing this even when I am technically able to? So, because I might have a few minutes or a nurse for a couple hours, but the whys that came into my head were, well, because my fibromyalgia is rendering me into an aching, painful bundle of sore muscles, and I'm sad because I'm not the best in managing my free time. It happens to creative people, right? I'm not very good at that, specifically doing things. Because there's an expectation that just because I'm here in the house and I have help, that I can do a million different things, that, I don't have a quote job. So can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And I always say yes, and I don't say no enough. But because my own family, community, my tribe has basically no understanding of the fact that my success journey needs focus and support. And also that I don't do a good job communicating how much support I need to do my podcast and things like that. because caring for my son is really, really hard and heavy, if not physically, then in all of the other things I manage, the doctor's appointments, all that stuff, and the visits and the supplies and just all of it. And this encapsulated world is in itself a limiting form. It can suck the life out of your independent creative spirit because it's just hard. She's still not there yet. So I gravitate back to this space in my podcast office here, in this beautiful space, surrounded by my treasures and my inspirations and the things that bring me joy. And I was thinking and asking this why? Why? And I'm asking this while I'm sitting in here. And I faced this computer screen and I was just like thinking about what to talk to you guys about today. So I said, why? Well, I'll talk to you about when I was asking all these why questions today and what that resulted in. So I had this flashback of this synchronicity. I'm really into this, like synchronicity, when you see things like license plates and they really strike you, right? I'm having this memory of this license plate I saw on our drive home from Boston on Sunday because my son, my youngest, just graduated from Berklee College of Music in Boston. And the license plate said, why else? And I was like, yeah, why? Why else? Why else wouldn't you be doing this? So that was really a cool little spark. I love those little sparks. I think that the universe gives you those messages sometimes. And all of these things like manifestation, abundance, law of attraction, your higher self, heart-centered living, mindfulness, spiritual connection, they all come from this place of searching and of curiosity and of asking questions and learning to pivot away from the self-limiting and ridiculously stressful and lack world of caring for somebody who has disabilities and is medically fragile. It is very, very challenging. And, these little moments give me time to look at myself as being so much more, right? I want to be curious and ask questions and seek new ways to express and create myself, right? That's okay. Some people might say, "Oh no, I can't do that. Oh, that I feel guilty about that. I can't do other things." But it helps everybody. So I'm sitting here at my desk, right, and I'm thinking about why do I want to make videos? Why am I making videos on YouTube? And why am I writing things about adapting my life? And why would I do all this? Why would I do all this in the first place? Why do I want to tell my story? Like, who's going to really be interested in that, right? And then I just start to pull in, and I say, you know what? This is what I want to do. This is what I'm drawn to. And the ideas start to flow, and I start to write an outline, and then all of a sudden I have a topic, and this is how my episodes come to life. And sometimes they're really wordy and long, but I can brainstorm topics like that, and I think that other people in my shoes can relate to this. I've had some little bits and pieces of information come my way, but about people who are valuing these talks that I do. So it is possible to have a life as a caregiver, everybody, and also have a career of creating something that will show the world what it's like to carry this lift. Well, it's also enlightening yourself. This is what it is for me. For you, it might be you just want to plant a beautiful garden outside and just have a few seconds for yourself or whatever it is. But it is possible and perfectly okay. And it is perfectly what has become my journey at this moment in my life. And I think that's pretty cool. So for today, I want to encourage you to think about something that you wish to do, right? I keep looking over here because I'm waiting for my telehealth to start and she's late. That's weird. She's never late. Okay, so what does it feel? So for today, I encourage you to think, maybe get a journal, color a picture. I don't know, think about it in your head. Think about something that you want to do for you based on your interests, right? And give it a little love and focus. And ask yourself, why does it feel out of reach? And is there a way that you can release a little something to make more space for that one thing? You could, start with one little thing. Like, does your family also know how important it is for you to be able to do that thing, like what's your passion, and communicate it to them. And start small if you're too overwhelmed. But as for me, and for me, it is not enough daytime hours or weekend hours. Wait a minute. Let me say that again. And for me, if not enough daytime hours or weekend hours is hindering me from having more time to work and create and produce and earn money and help people, then a priority task is for me to push harder into the fact that Daniel's nursing care program itself is not performing the way that it should be. So that's why the two whys were, why am I not doing better with my podcasting? Why isn't Daniel getting what he's supposed to be getting? Right? And he should have 102 hours a week of in home nursing care. He's supposed to, he's entitled to, his insurance covers it. They approve that. And yet we're nowhere close. So, um, I would love to learn more about your challenges, all of you. And as caregivers, are there things that you feel would add so much more value and meaning to your life, and you're drifting away from them because you just don't know how to make it happen? You don't know how to do it. And you gravitate back to those ideas again and again when you have 10 seconds to breathe. So that gravitation of thoughts is probably your intuition speaking to you, saying, hey, you know, I'm inside here, I'm inside of you, and I think this is a good idea for you. That's your intuition. So sometimes my intuition tells me, I know you think you want to sit in that chair and make sure you watch another episode of Ted Lasso on your phone before you do anything today, but I think it's a good time for you to get up and go write an outline in your office, brainstorm, find your accelerator a little bit, push yourself, be your best self, because you know at the other side of that, you always feel better when you push yourself through it, without a doubt. You never feel worse. Like if you're unmotivated and you're blah and you find yourself doing something that you really love, you always feel better on the other side of it. So even if I just accomplish writing one page, one poem, recording 15 minutes of an episode, painting a watercolor picture, uploading a video, I don't know. I just feel like I've taken a step on my creative adaptive journey towards my passion of helping others. And I don't want you to feel lonely, because I know what it feels like to feel lonely, and I feel lonely a lot. And I don't feel lonely when I'm doing these things that bring this kind of passion up to the surface. And I want to give back. I want to be here, and I think that's an okay thing to be. I mean, I don't know who's going to feel less lonely because of me. I mean, that I'm not being like narcissistic, like everyone needs me. I'm just expressing how I feel in this role, and I am pretty sure there's a lot of people who are struggling. It is very challenging what we do. So some of us find our passion in the purpose of caregiving, and that in itself is okay too. Some people might say, well, you know what? It fills my days. I love taking care of my person. And then after that, I make dinner and I rest and I go to bed. And that is just as beautiful as anything else. As long as your soul is being nourished and you're in your good space, right? So the recipe for all of this is just like a blank page for each of us. We all have different circumstances that are wrapped around our caregiving, our families, our responsibilities, our financial issues, our relationships, our own health issues, our other children, other things that really absorb what is left of us after we are done changing the diapers, doing the medications, doing showers, ordering devices, having therapies, going to appointments, all of that. We are all adapting life to give life to someone else, while also hanging on to our own dear life so that we don't lose the sense of who we are during this beautiful, precious life of being us. I hope that resonates with you, with some of you. I find that most concepts about self improvement are a little convoluted for me, and they're obstructed by being a caregiver. They don't fit normally. And so many fragments that just pop in and out and suck out the air of our days. It makes it a challenge to stop and listen to your own intuition. But you can practice that. That is a skill. Some people don't understand that. You have to really work at listening and going inward And when you listen and you learn how to listen, you can hear it. Like you can really hear it. I never used to hear my own intuition. Now I think it's incredible how much I see and feel and experience. And I don't know, it's like being mindful, being present, listening, being still. It's just incredible. So here's a fun thing that I did in my, and this is just, I had written this down because I'm like, what makes my moments more meaningful? So this is nothing I did, you guys. If somebody is interested in creating a meditation space, and where's my doctor? Do I have 11:20 today? It's 12. All right, I'm gonna come back. Whoops. Whoops. Sorry. Whoops. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, friends. So I just want to tell you guys that. Oh, hear that noise? I don't know if you can hear that noise. When I sit here, my son has a lift that goes across the ceiling in his room. It's a ceiling lift system, and the whole room vibrates. It is what it is. You guys are all amazing and incredible people, and what you do every day is no small task. But you don't always find yourself in the position of choosing to be a caregiver, do you? Like we don't choose this. Like we go like, okay, we're gonna have a life when we're younger, and then we decide maybe to get a career, go to college, and get married, have a family, or do a different kind of job, or whatever it is that you choose for your life. You don't choose to dedicate yourself to your son, daughter, family member. This is something that usually happens because of a very difficult illness or injury or circumstance. So it is very, very vital for you to find time to nurture yourself and who you are as a person, however that looks for you. Don't feel guilty for that. Um, if you seek eminently for what brings you your light and what really, really gives you peace and what sparks your purpose, uh, or you just need to really find that way to feel like you and to look for what you need to be you. Um, Having self enlightenment can really help you look with new eyes at how to care for your loved one. So the more you know yourself, the more joy that you're feeling, they see that. I mean, Daniel is different with me when I'm not incredibly stressed and not focused and just having a rough time. When I have to be with him, I'm more creative and I find new ways to like make him laugh and I find new ideas and things like that. So and it's easier to care for him without resentment and without negativity, which, let's face it, it happens. Sometimes we just feel like, I just don't want to do this. Um, with something that allows you to really nurture yourself, it makes you have less of that. You're more expansive and you're more positive and grateful and abundant, and you can feel so much better by doing that. So one little suggestion, my dear friends, is to just find a moment where you can close your eyes and just take some deep breaths and just be in the moment and ask yourself, like who am I? Ask yourself, your higher self, your soul, like who am I? And am I doing what is nurturing for myself, and what do I want to do? See what comes to you. Who am I and how can I be more kind and nurturing to myself, and what can I do to really dig into that? And it could be something really small or it could be a big project that you want to envision, but whatever. It's just that time to connect to you, the person that you are inside your body, inside your skin, inside your soul, right? That makes you you. Um, I'm here and I'm speaking to you because I have asked myself over and over and over and over, who am I? And why am I in this situation? And how did this happen? And what came to my mind whenever I asked myself, who am I? It's like, well, you're, connect. I get these messages all the time in my brain, like connect with others, share, tell your story, be creative, paint, let it flow, write things down, let the words guide you, look at the birds. I don't know. Like I get all these different things about me. And, you know, in reality, I guess, we are just human beings. Our soul, we're just love and light created. And we all have our own unique things that only we know. So it's like coming home to yourself and learning something new. So when you try to do that kind of self-discovery. So encouraging and sharing and lifting is what kept coming to me. Being kind, finding a way to fill the difficult life of adapting to adversity with just an uplift of human spirit. Just to give you a sense, I now have 1.5 hours before Daniel's nurse leaves. Yes, when I wrote this, that's what it was. But right now, I have a couple hours before she leaves, which is this afternoon. So I have to do a lot of things, and I have to wrap up this outline, wrap up this recording, print it, download it, and finish everything here. Get everything done. Get the evening meds done. Set up the pump. Get his nighttime feed. Get him into the shower. Give myself a good stretch, review my calendar for tomorrow, talk to John. We're dealing with a lot right now. I have fibro meds that I take, and then I crash into my bed. And most nights, Daniel either wakes up like at 3 a.m, needing to be changed, or he wakes up really early and needs assistance. So I never know if I'm going to get a full night's sleep or whatever, but I sleep with the CPAP. I go in my room. I always say in my head, like I'm going into my cocoon, and I start all over again. But without all these little moments of me activities, I think I would still be okay. I think if I didn't have all this time to do my podcast and create things, I would still be okay. But knowing that I'm working on my own projects and my own self-empowerment and feeling that way through my life, through adapting to still be able to connect and develop a purpose. And I look at things and I'm like, I always was very much into connecting with the human spirit. I mean, I was a human resource manager. I have a degree in like training development and human resources. And, I think I could have done a lot more in that regard. And I think I'm connecting to my larger purpose in the universe. And I think that's okay. I don't feel bad. So if someone says, well, how dare you focus on doing something else? You should be focusing on what you're doing. It's like, nope, this is who I am. So with very much love, everyone, I want you to hang in there and, focus on yourself and find a little something to give you some spark. And please feel free to share with me how you're feeling, what's going on. Did you listen to the podcast? Do you like it? I can be found on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, social media. I don't know. I got all the things. I have a website. Everything is linked in the description of this video. And, let me know. I would really love to hear from you guys. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to get feedback. And, we're gonna take this as it comes. Right now I'm dealing with a funeral and I got a lot of tough stuff on my plate. So I'm very happy that I sat down today to talk to you, given the fact that somebody in our family just passed away. So all that and a bag of chips. So they say. I will be back next time, hopefully sooner, to the Adapted Life podcast. And with that, I want you to know I am here for you. You are not alone. I'm not alone. And I'm very, very grateful just to be here in this moment with you. So thank you. And we'll see you then.